Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Sam, and me on today I'm joined by Connor.
Hey, guys.
And Mike.
Hello.
And we are already over halfway through 2024. Can you believe it? It's been going so fast. And after an extremely eventful 2023, I think me and everyone really thought that 2024 would be a bit slower. And I feel like it really hasn't been. It's been full of hits, just like 2023. Not quite as on fire as 2023, but certainly not a slow year by any stretch of the imagination.
It's been lighter on the AAA releases, which has left room for some real banger small games, in my opinion. Not small, but smaller, like your Helldivers 2, your Persona 3 Reload, which I would call smaller because it's a remake.
Pal World.
But then you have games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Helldivers, which came out and really kind of shook things. But I think the point being, we're halfway through the year. Maybe we can just do a kind of mid-year check-in, reflect on the first half of the year, talk about what we're looking forward to in the second half, predictions for the second half, and just sort of like what we're playing, how we're gaming right now in the middle of 2024.
There was a Game Boy game that came out here.
This year. What is it?
Kudzu was an indie Game Boy game that came out. I just looked into it. It came out in April? On Switch and original Game Boy.
Are they selling it?
Yes, for $50. You can buy
$50
a cartridge. Yes, $50 for a Game Boy game.
I think that checks out. Retro games are far more expensive.
It's a collectible though, so it is what it is. It's on the Nintendo Switch too for $5.
So what if you all had to pick your game of the year right now of only games that are already out? What do you think it'd be?
Not counting early access.
Not counting early access.
Yeah, Helldivers 2 is real up there right now. I've heard good things about Tekken 8 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth as well.
Yeah. I mean, well, you've heard good things about them, but you haven't played them, so they can't be your game of the year. I was going to say, I'm still in the throes of Elden Ring, and obviously it's recency bias, but that Shadow of the Erdtree, man, is something really special. It's elevated Elden Ring to me, which already was such a sublime experience. So if we count that, then it would be Shadow of the Erdtree for me. But
I'll count that for sure. For this fun little exercise. Mine's probably Helldivers 2 still, honestly.
Yeah.
Just the community experience of that, the way it brought us together for a few weeks, maybe a month or so, was really special to me.
Yeah, it kind of threw us back a few years in the days when we'd just get together in groups and game and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people still have that, in their late 20s and 30s, but
I play Fortnite
I certainly
with people,
don't. Yeah.
Not daily, but nearly daily. I play Fortnite with some people, so...
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm pretty much strictly a single-player gamer now, which, I don't know, I like single-player gaming. I do enjoy when we have a game to play, in a group.
Yeah.
There was a really fun period of time, actually this happened a few times, where we'd play Minecraft, me and a group of friends from college, and that was a lot of fun. There was a Destiny phase, as I've spoken of many times on this show.
Are you checking out the final shape?
Dude, I want to, but it's such a daunting ask, because it is presumably, just by all the impressions I've seen, the best Destiny has ever been, which is wild to me, that 10 years after the fact that it's that good. And the main thing to me, right, it doesn't matter how good or bad it is, Destiny to me will always be something I need to play with friends. So even if it's incredible, if I don't have anyone to play with, it might not matter too much. At least that's how I feel about it right now. So, but we'll see. It's definitely on my radar, but Elden Ring comes first, and I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with that, but I can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in terms of so let's say for the sake of argument, I can't pick Elden Ring because that's a game that came out in 2022.
Yeah.
For me, I think the game's got to be Balatro.
Oh yeah, Balatro's huge.
I really like Balatro. It's just scratching an itch that I didn't even know I had. Like, obviously, I love roguelikes. I really like deck builders. And there's just something so, like, beautiful about how simple Balatro is, where it just takes the game of poker, adds in some wild cards, and then, boom, you have, like, a full-fledged roguelike game.
Yeah, it's the full-fledged roguelike game where Balatro loses me a little. It's missing the special ending. It's missing the, like,
the final
weird
boss.
It's missing the eggplant run. It's missing the... And, like, arguably Gold Stake has the difficulty of all of that, but it's missing the weird secret stuff to me that I love in a roguelike. Which is like such a sparse criticism. I love Balatro, but it keeps it from being like a top-tier roguelike to me.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just like, here's the game, you know, like, there's no secret stuff, and which you know me, like, I love Animal Well, I love Elden Ring, I love uncovering secrets, but I also love the fact that they're just like, here's the game, Local Thunk, right? The one guy who developed Balatro. Yeah. Who, by the way, developed it for himself. He was just like, I'm not really developing this for an audience. This is just a game I want to play.
Yeah, I feel like we hear that a lot about auteurs in the industry.
Yeah. But man, yeah, I've sunk so many hours into that game. Like I said, if they ever put Balatro out on mobile, it's just like, oh man.
Steam Deck, man. I would rather play it on my phone than on my Steam Deck, I think. But it is an insanely good Steam Deck game. It's on Switch, too. Did you end up buying it? Did you double dip?
I did double dip, so I have it on Switch. But
for sure.
I will triple dip if it's on mobile.
Oh, yeah. So. I would probably double dip to have it on my phone, my tablet.
But yeah, Balatro, and I guess we name-dropped Animal Well, too. For a while there, Animal Well was eating up all my time. I played that game exhaustively for a few days there.
Yeah, I never did end up doing the rabbits or anything in Animal Well. I did fall off on it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like exponential curve of, like, level of effort you have to put into the reward you get. There was, like, a really sweet spot there in, like, layer 1 and 2, but beyond that, it just gets, like, you have to really be committed to the game to get more juice out of it. And I'm glad that people are, because I was able to, like, live vicariously through them and see all of the secrets in the game, but, like, actually devoting the time myself is not something I was willing to do.
It sits in this weird place for me where, like, the public opinion is intensely positive for Animal Well, and my opinion is also intensely positive for Animal Well, but I largely disagree with the public opinion about why it's good. Like,
oh, really?
So I don't enjoy, like, Animal Well content, really. I just, or any, I don't know. The comparisons to Outer Wilds and stuff really have me like, what are you guys talking about?
That was just Jason Schreier, though, right?
I saw it other times. People have called it a Metroidvania. People have called it, like, a bunch of stuff like that. It's not a Metroidvania. It's a Metroidvania with a lot of puzzles.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a Jason Schreier thing.
No, I've seen it so many places. I've seen dozens of YouTube videos comparing it to Outer Wilds.
I mean, historically, Jason Schreier's... like, he makes some good scoops on the gaming industry, but personally... I don't like his taste in games.
I couldn't
tell you anything about it. Yeah,
he liked Octopath, and I distinctly remember not liking Octopath.
Oh, I really? Octopath. I like the demo.
I wanted to check out Octopath. Like, it's basically they kind of pioneered the HD 2D look, right?
Which has been done better by every single person that attempted it after.
But they started it, yeah,
and they did a good job. It's not that they did a bad job. It's just that. It combined with the secret sauce of nostalgia is more potent than a new RPG in that style.
I mean, like, that's often the case, right? Where, like, someone's like, hey, here's this cool new thing. And then, like, everyone's like, huh? Okay. And then, like, really takes it to the next level. But you do gotta give credit to Octopath for really kind of starting that.
And it's not like it performed poorly. It got a sequel.
Oh, no.
It's getting Triangle Strategy. I want to play it. It's on Game Pass. It's been, like, it's been in my maybe pile for a long time. It's just one of those, I don't know how long it is, and it's a JRPG with 8 characters, so I assume pretty long. So I haven't dove in yet. So, kind of back on this year.
Yeah, I want to keep reflecting on stuff we've enjoyed for a minute.
There've been a couple of games that weren't what we expected, I think. What comes to mind is Dragon's Dogma 2, I kind of thought was going to set the world on fire.
And then it did.
More than it did.
That. I mean, it sold pretty well, and it's a really good game. Like, I enjoyed my time with it. It's just the performance of that game really bogged it down to me, where, like, I really wish they figured that out, and it would be more enjoyable to play.
The sentiment I've seen from every Dragon's Dogma fan, though, has been that it was more of a 1.5 than a 2, which I didn't play the original, so I'd probably still really enjoy 2.
Same.
And I will when I get to it. But that, I don't know, that's a weird sentiment to go in with, especially when I'm picking the one that's going to perform way worse when it maybe isn't that much more feature rich than the old one.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I have seen the comparisons to Dragon's Dogma 1 where they basically allegedly just made the same game again, obviously with improvements, but again, no, I did not play Dragon's Dogma 1, so it was like a fresh experience to me, and I really enjoyed my time with it. Even if I was at like 20 FPS at times.
The other one that really came out with a whimper, in my opinion, is Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's another strange one where, like, I think the studio kind of maybe lost their way a little bit with, because with Helldivers, I do that all the time. Hellblade 1, they had something kind of unique and novel, and instead of building on it, they kind of just did the same thing again, but simplified it even more, so it felt less meaty than the first one. At least that's what I've heard. I haven't played it. Connor, you played it.
Wouldn't bother. Yeah, I've played it. If you have, it's just too long. If it was a 2-hour game, I would like it a lot more.
Yeah.
If it was just the really good parts, but I say that about a lot of games. I'm a cut the fluff kind of guy. Right. When it is being its visual spectacle and stuff, like, which I feel like is its main mission, is that visual spectacle. It's fabulous. It's amazing. When it's making me do a puzzle that, like, I knew the solution to instantly, but it takes 15 minutes to actually do, I'm like, no. Like, this is boring, and I want to turn it off.
Yeah, so Hellblade 2 was definitely a miss, but Helldivers 2 was great. I mean,
Helldivers 2 yeah.
It just came out of nowhere.
I've been feeling the itch to return to it these past couple weeks, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those games that I think will be evergreen for a very long time, especially with that live, like, Dungeon Master aspect to it. And, I mean, it's still, like, obviously got a really healthy player base. It's not got nearly the numbers it did when it launched, but that's to be expected. But as a PC game, it's still got, like, I don't know, 40, 50,000 concurrent on the regular. So
yeah, that's like, not an unhealthy game. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a pretty healthy game. So I'm looking forward to them continuing to support it and release new stuff. I still think they haven't released that third faction. I think once they do that, they'll bring a lot of people back.
I think that, because that's the problem, right? Me coming back, if I want to really have fun, I need you guys to come back,
right,
too.
Yeah.
I can play it with randoms, but, like, I don't like talking to randoms over
that's
a mic.
What I'm saying, right? Like, I think for where we're at with Helldivers right now, they need to release something substantive to, like, actually get people to come back to the game. And I think probably when the next faction releases, that'll be the case. But who's to say?
Yeah.
I have to shout out Persona 3 as well. Once again, Persona 3, I never actually played it when it first came out, or just ever after that. So it was, in effect, a new Persona game to me. And a new Persona game is just like a heaven-sent gift to me. So I really enjoyed my time with that game. The story in that game, incredible, even though it takes like 20 to 30 hours to really start.
Yeah, that's where they
crazy.
Lost me. I only got 15 hours in, I think.
Yeah.
And I haven't played any more of it.
But yeah, really strong character work in that game. Love it. And I can't wait for Persona 6, man. If Persona 6 is also in 2025, I mean, 2025 is already looking like a stacked year.
Huge,
like,
yeah.
Nearly 2023, or even better than 2023, honestly. We'll see. But yeah, Persona 6, can't wait for that one. All right. So before we look forward...
I want to shout out one more stinker before we look forward. Because it's so bad, everybody forgot about it. No, it's just funnier. It's funnier when they're bad. Skull and Bones came out this year.
No way. Did
it?
My
God.
Dude, yeah.
Did anybody notice?
Clearly not.
Oh my god! And we got a Paper Mario remake. That's
Paper Mario was fantastic. Still chipping away at that one.
Yeah,
but Skull and Bones is just
I'm mouthing the Skull and Bones came out. I can't believe we forgot about it.
If Skull and Bones has one hater, it's me. I never played it, to be fair.
Skull and Bones has many haters.
I mean, Ubisoft they're just like painting a target on them with Skull and Bones, especially the language around it, saying it's a quadruple A game. You know, all this nonsense.
They forgot to make it good.
Doing? And it's like you already had a really excellent pirate game with Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah. They could have just made it prettier and more content for that. And they didn't do that.
I mean, I guess I understand, like, from an executive level, they were like, okay, we're going to double down on this. And by that, we're going to create a brand new game in this style from the ground up and just make it all the ship stuff. And it just, no.
Did not work, no.
What else? Any other games we want to talk about? I mean, obviously a lot of stuff came out, but like we're sort of just highlighting the things we're interested in. Hades 2 was an early access, and that's pretty huge, but early access
I'm just not an early access Andy. Yeah. So I am a full release Andrew for sure.
Yeah. Nice Northern Line parlance there.
Oh, yeah.
B Rising came out.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Haven't played it yet. I want to, though. I enjoyed what I played of that game. I think the themed survival games are way more fun to me than like your Valheims and your V Risings are way more interesting than your Power Worlds even are more interesting to me than your Rusts and the Forests and that ilk.
Oh yeah, that's why I liked Enshrouded so much, because it wasn't just
I still need to check that out.
Pain.
Yeah.
It kind of got overshadowed by Power World.
Yeah, Power World. What a way to kick off this year, though.
Are you guys coming back for the update?
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, I definitely will play Power World again. Like, I know I will, because I just think that's a like
it'll be a Minecraft kind of thing.
It was uniquely addicting to me. Like, it was like it gave me same like addictive vibes as something like MapleStory, which is probably not healthy. But that being said, like I probably will return to it, but like whether your opinion of it is positive or negative, like it's such a strange way to start off this year, right? Like it came out of nowhere right as the year started and really just took all the oxygen. Like everyone was talking about this game, everyone was playing this game that seemingly came out of nowhere, this game that was seemingly cobbled together by people who really didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, so, Power World was one of those games that I had been following for like 2, 3 years, 4 years. I don't even know how long it was since they released that first trailer.
Yeah, it had been on my radar.
I thought it was just going to be a game that I'd bought, and maybe I'd talk about it on the podcast, and you'd be like, wow, that sounds gruesome. I didn't expect us to have a whole episode about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't expect it to explode.
I didn't expect it to be nearly as fun as it was. Like, I saw that idea. I saw the same, like, 2 years ago. There was a trailer, it was on my radar. And I just thought, oh, this is going to be awful, but I do want to see what happens when it comes out. And it turns out it was actually kind of fun. So
yeah.
I'm well known for being the person to play off the wall weird games, and Power World was on my radar. And out of nowhere, it's the biggest game of like January.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest of the year.
So in addition to games, I don't want to spend too long on this because we've already like talked about it enough, but we also had like major studio closures this year.
Right.
The layoffs continue without an end in sight.
Embracer just closed Piranha Bytes yesterday too.
I gotta point this out. Kerbal Space Program 2 is not only still for sale on Steam, despite 2K shuttering the studio developing it. This is an early access game. It went on sale for the Steam Summer Sale. They put a discount on a game they are not going to finish. Like that we know now. We know for sure there is no one working on this game.
They're just trying to squeeze the last drops of juice out of it.
That should be... I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to sell a game on Steam anymore. They should be banned from the platform.
Yeah, it's so crappy that in this year we're getting... It used to be early access games, the dev would just run out of money and disappear because it'd be like an indie dev, was one guy, and he might come back in 10 years when he has money again.
World moment.
But yeah, but now it's It is these massive studios that are putting a game into early access and then shuttering the studio because they just can't afford the studio anymore.
They could afford it. They just
we're not getting solo devs abandoning a project. We're getting multi-million-dollar studios abandoning a project because Activision decided it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So,
but yeah,
Mike, you brought up Embracer, and Embracer is just a mess, right? Embracer really should have been like the warning sign for what was happening with Microsoft and Activision, where if they just Embracer is the textbook example of unchecked growth. They started all these projects, they gobbled up all these studios, couldn't manage any of it, and now they're having to cut and destroy things.
Then $2 billion in investments fell through, and now their studio is struggling for air, and everything they bought in the last decade has now been closed or sold off.
Yeah.
Like it's gone.
They own Coffee Stain, don't
Embracer's-
they? I'm pretty sure Embracer owns Coffee Stain.
They own a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Coffee Game Studios, I think, is an independent. They are owned by Embracer.
Yeah,
That's
scary, isn't it? Yeah, doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
2018, they were bought.
But I mean, it certainly says something that I trust Microsoft way more than Embracer. That's how bad Embracer's management is, right? Like,
Xbox went multi-plat this year.
Yeah, I guess technically yes. It's still kind
they
of
released
unofficial.
Xbox exclusives on PS5 and Nintendo Switch. They didn't go full multi-plat, but like and PlayStation's doing it too. PlayStation has Horizon coming to Switch.
Yeah, what a weird world we live in.
Yeah. That's just that's not a game that was fun for anyone, but it's a big
Okay, come on.
I'm not saying Horizon's not going to be fun.
Stain,
I'm saying that this wasn't a video game. This was news.
Staying around though. Coffee Stain is sticking around because Embracer's spinning off into their indie game
right. And
group.
They're going to be in charge of publishing. They are going to be the indie branch of so it might work out for them. I hope it does.
Yeah, Coffee Stain has a good track record of good published games. They're behind Valheim, Deep Rock.
Yeah, but like Coffee Stain is in the position of always having a trigger-happy madman be your master, right?
Yeah.
And that's why something like Toys for Bob were very smart in extricating themselves from that situation. Where
Toys for Bob going independent as soon as Microsoft freed them from the Call of Duty mines.
Yeah.
And they're working on something I'm excited to see. I love them.
Yeah. I just think it is wild for like a group like Toys for Bob to be unshackled from the Call of Duty mines and immediately run for the hills.
Yeah.
Not even stopping for a second.
No, they did the smart thing, like don't let them sweet talk you into staying.
Yeah.
Like they could promise you all the
out.
nice things in the world, but like the other side of the coin is they could take it all away in an instant.
Yeah.
So rip to Tango Gameworks.
Yeah.
Rip to Arcane.
Rip to
Rest
Arcane.
in
I still
peace,
can't believe that one.
Piranha Bytes. My Eurojank RPGs, they're gone. Like, what are we going to do without Gothic?
I mean, there's still plenty of jank RPGs to fill the void, but you're right.
Piranha
It's
Bytes
tragic.
was the best at making Eurojank.
Eurojank.
That's what it's called.
Okay, so maybe we should look ahead to the rest of 2024.
There's a Zelda game coming out this year.
Yeah, there's a Zelda game coming. It's not like a quote-unquote mainline Zelda, but it's still a Zelda game nonetheless, and it's an actual Zelda game where you play as Zelda.
I think whether or not it's mainline is debatable. I mean, where is The Link Between Worlds a mainline Zelda game?
So, I would say no. I think the mainline ones are like the ones that... I'm talking like, I guess, 3D Zeldas in the ilk of like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask.
I just don't think
Twilight
people would
Princess,
agree
Wind
with you
Waker.
on that definition. I think that would be extremely
Really?
contentious. Yeah, like, because by that argument, like, is A Link to the Past a mainline Zelda game? Obviously it is.
Yeah, I don't think Zelda has a mainline spin-off. Like,
I think it's all... Well, no, there are definitely spin-offs. Like,
there are
Four
spin-offs.
Swords is for sure.
So, okay, but like, here's
Four
what I'm trying to
Swords is a
say.
mainline.
Obviously this game's going to be good. I can't see a world where it's in the same rarefied area as like Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild. Like there's a tier of Zelda games there. I think.
I disagree that there's no way that it enters that echelon. I think it's unlikely, but I think
it's possible. Like you can't ever discount.
You can't call
Aonuma and the
Nintendo
Zelda
out.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Especially
getting
Zelda.
Slitterhead this year too.
What a name. Slitterhead.
That looks like a game that I want because
I mean, the minds behind Silent Hill are behind it, so it could be cool.
And we get Sonic Shadow Generations.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know what to think of that.
Well, I'm
bunch
actually
of remasters.
I'm actually very excited for it because I've never played Sonic Generations. So
so you have the best Sonic game ever made ahead of you. Like
with shadow content, which
shadow content that may be dubious.
Star Wars Outlaws is this year?
Yeah, that game actually went gold like a week ago. So they're done making that game. So
what's the release date?
I think it's like
in
next month or something. Yeah,
in like a month.
If it's next month, I might actually play it. I don't think I know any other major releases in August.
Other major, I guess Concord comes out on PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Black Myth Wukong.
Concord's in August?
Yeah. So they're having an open beta for Concord very soon. I think in the next few days. So we'll finally actually get. Like I'm actually looking forward to, because all of our judgments of Concord so far have just been off the god awful like trailer they put out. But I'm not going to play this beta, but people are going to play this beta, and we'll finally have impressions on it. So we'll know once and for all if this game is like hot trash or not.
Dude, it's dookie.
Yeah,
I'd bet everything.
Finally in.
No, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we're in the last part of the year where all the good games are going to come out, or so they say. But
got a lot of good games coming.
I'm
actually like Outlaws. I'm not going to buy Outlaws, but I think I might buy a month of Ubi Play or whatever their Ubi Plus. I don't know what it's called. Whatever their monthly thing is. I might spend the $10 or whatever for a month of that and get an impression of Outlaws, because it's just kind of an interesting game.
We also get a new Assassin's Creed this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
You hit July and it's all AAA games.
Yeah,
that's the major titles for the rest of the year.
Well, I was just going to say September, October for me is just going to go insane because we've got Astrobot, we've got Zelda
2,
we've got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, we've got Sonic,
Funko Fusion,
Life is Strange Double Exposure.
There's a game in September that Ahmed, I think you specifically need to not miss. And that is Satisfactory 1.0.
Oh yeah, that's coming out.
That is
I'm so excited.
Massive Game of the Year contender. Like, no doubt.
It's such a good factory game.
It is having played the early access, it's a front runner for Game of the Year for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is a factory game that is more accessible than Factorio.
Way more.
In all the good ways. Like, sure I sit there and have to do math, but I don't have to worry about running out of resources while I'm doing hardcore mathematics.
You take Factorio, you add a handcrafted, massive open world, 3D movement, first-person 3D, ray tracing, like, all the visual works you can get in Unreal 5. This game is going to be really, really good.
I think it's finally 1.0. I'm going to check it out when it comes out. Yeah. So... yeah, I mean, September, October, just going to be killer.
Yeah, a lot of good games.
You might want to buy it now on the Steam sale, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be more expensive.
You can buy it, because it's going to cost more on release.
But don't play it now, because...
I won't, I won't.
Your 1.0 is going to break everybody's factories. Like, you have to start over.
But I guarantee that Satisfactory it's going to be a good game, because it's been a good game for 3 years.
Yeah, it was a good game when I played it in 2020. It's going to be...
it was a good game when I picked it up in 2016. Or 2020 is when it came out?
I think so. 2020.
Yeah, I was... okay, I was working at the other location. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That was Steam release, I think. Yeah. It was a year... so I played it on Epic a year before it came out on Steam. So yeah, 2019, I was playing this game, and it was just as good as it is now.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard you guys talk about this game for years. I've heard the internet talk about this game for years. It does seem to be a good way for me to, like, get acclimated to that kind of game before I jump into Factorio. Because I think that's how I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best intro. Like, not to diminish Satisfactory, because the scale of things you can do in Satisfactory is very impressive as well. but like just playing Satisfactory is going to be much easier than Factorio.
Right.
Much better tutorialization, simpler systems, and also just having a third dimension means that space doesn't come at a premium in the same way it does in Factorio. And resources are infinite in Satisfactory. So there's just a lot of stuff that makes it simpler. And I do think Satisfactory is a much easier first game than Factorio is.
Yeah. So that's kind of my game plan. Because I know Factorio is getting that space update. I think
yes,
you said
that's in
next
October.
year?
So these
that's this year. Okay.
September is Satisfactory. October is Factorio.
No,
I am going to lose my mind. Like, I don't know how I'm going to play the Zelda game. I don't know how I'm going to play Sparking Zero. I don't like.
No, yeah, September, October, 60 golden days right there.
Yeah, I am going to be deep in the factory builder genre.
Also,
inescapably so.
October, new Mario Party comes out, and I know that's not big for everyone, but my family is like super into Mario Party. We like every time a new one comes out, we play it to death. So
what's
like
the new one called?
Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Okay, it looks good.
Yeah, so and like with each new Mario Party, especially in the Switch era, they've added so many quality of life improvements that just make the game, like little things that just make the game so much better. Like being able to like practice in the menu without starting a whole game, and like
yes, oh my god, yeah,
telling you how far away you are from the star or from any position rather than you having to like count out the spaces.
Yeah,
it's simple things that like probably took a day or two to develop that really enhance the experience.
It seems obvious in retrospect, but like I wasn't asking for it when I played them on the GameCube.
Right, yeah.
You know, it was just. But I agree.
Back in the day, we just accepted Mario Party being a savage game, you know, like yeah. I mean, I'm sure more controllers have been broken over Mario Party than any other franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know, man, like. And then November, we cap off the year with Mario and Luigi Brothership and Assassin's Creed.
When was Astrobot again? That's September?
September, yeah. Astrobot is like early September? Yeah, September 6th. So
God, that's going to be September, October.
I think Astrobot will be a Game of the Year contender. Like, all signs are kind of pointing to that.
And you're going to play the Call of Duty campaign, right? You always do that?
Lately I haven't been so strict about that rule, but I might, you know, like I don't know. We'll see about Call of Duty. Yeah,
I'm gonna play it probably if it's coming to Game Pass day one, so like I might as well.
Let me just say that like of all the things we talked about so far, Call of Duty is far below my desire to play. Yeah, like it is of all these things
lower than Skull and Bones. Like,
then why are you entertaining playing it? You know,
because I haven't played one in like 10 years. I might as well.
And plus you'll get it for Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So I would have to pay $70 for it.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's a waste of money. $70 and like the cost of a new like terabyte drive for your PS5.
Right? Well, actually, you bring up a really good point, because by that time, the PlayStation 5 Pro will be out. Presumably, right? Like there's no official announcement yet, but if they follow the same trajectory they did with the PS4 Pro, they announced it in September and released it in November. And we know these dev kits are out there. We know the console exists. We know the specs of the console. And granted, you know, this is a very niche product. Like, I don't expect everyone to run out there and buy a PS5 Pro, but I'm going to get a PS5 Pro. I'm going to mess around with that PSSR, and I'm going to enjoy my presumably 4K 60 FPS experiences. So
I might buy somebody's cheap secondhand PS5.
Maybe you'll buy my cheap secondhand PS5.
Yeah, it depends on how much you're asking for it. But yeah,
I mean, I probably
we'll do that off show.
Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm always a huge mark for a console. Like, even mid-gen refreshes, historically, I've been like all over. Like, even like the Xbox 360 Elite, like I got one of those and I pogged out of my mind, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just it's always Christmas when a console releases to me. So
yeah,
I'm kind of excited for that. And I'm sure like Sony's first party this year, they don't really have a showcase quote unquote title to go with the PS5 Pro, right? Like obviously Astrobot's gonna look great, play great, but not really like a wow, like look at this game that justifies the Pro's existence kind of game, right? So I think for PS4 Pro, that game was Horizon Zero Dawn, where you played it on the PS4 Pro and you were just like, my God, look at this thing.
I just want to say, more than any other game, Astrobot is why I want a PS5. More than Spider-Man, more than more than anything else. Astrobot looks like just pure fun. And I'll play those other games while I have it. It looks like
joy distilled into game form, the same way Mario Odyssey did to me.
God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC in September as well.
Oh man, that's a huge hit for you, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still not sold on buying that at launch, but it is coming.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, the 60 golden days of the fall 2024.
It's crazy. It's gonna be. That might be that 60-day run might be more dense. That's gonna be more dense than 2023 was.
We're gonna get so many I feel like we're gonna get so many 90+ Metacritic scores.
Satisfactory's guaranteed 90+ on Metacritic. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it. So a lot to look forward to in the next few months. And none of it matters anyway. Sparking Zero is going to be Game of the Year.
Sparking Zero is Game of the Year,
but... yeah. So we got a new console happening later this year. We got games coming later this year. So I don't know. I'm excited for 2024 in a way that I don't think I was at the beginning of this year. This year has already proved itself to be a monster of a year. And yeah, I can't wait to play more.
Yeah, I agree. Do we want to get into games we've been playing?
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
I've been playing a game called Myst. Myst. Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard of this.
Oh, isn't that this? That's old, isn't it?
So the original Myst came out in 1993, and at the time, I think it was the best-selling PC game of all time. It sold 6 million copies, and the reason I'm playing this now is my dad has talked to me about Myst since I was a child. I've been hearing about this game. We didn't have a copy of it. I don't know, or at least I don't think we did. I never played it as a kid. I would have. But it's this really old CG game. Anybody listening, you should look this up and see the screenshots of the original Myst. It's like a slideshow, basically. It's these pre-rendered images that you move through. You click to go where you want to go. But it's not real-time 3D or anything. It's these CG still shots that you're seeing. Anyway, in 2021, they've done a lot of remakes of this game over the years. But in 2021, they did a VR remake for MetaQuest, and then I forget if it was 2020 and then 2021 or 2021, 2022, but that got ported to PC and also has its VR capability. So that's where I've been playing it. And now it has obviously much higher resolution, better fidelity, better textures, ray tracing if you're not playing in VR, but unfortunately they walled off the ray tracing, which I think was kind of short-sighted of them because I'm pretty sure my GPU could handle the ray tracing in VR at VR frame rates because it runs at 4K, well over 60. I don't have the frame rate thing running, but that kind of annoys me that I can't have that in VR. But VR is the way to play this game. It feels they've changed very little from the original in terms of the puzzles and the way you interact with the environment. It just feels like it was always going for this level of immersion that translates really well to VR. There are these control panels with knobs and buttons, and originally you were clicking them with a mouse, and now you're just reaching out your hand and actually touching these knobs and turning them and doing stuff. And I really... it's not the best game I've ever played, but it's really cool because there's no inventory or anything. I've always hated point-and-click adventures where you have an inventory and you're you find a new thing and you just have to grab every single thing out of your inventory and see if it does anything here. You don't have to do any of that in Myst. Every time you find a puzzle, you either have everything you need to solve it, or the thing you're missing is knowledge, which gives me a big Outer Wilds vibe. You can for sure draw a lineage from Myst to Outer Wilds. And so I'm really enjoying this game. It is kind of missing that, you find something on the other side of the solar system or whatever, and you bring it back, and it's the solution to this puzzle. The puzzles are all fairly local. There are several different islands you go to, and you never need any information from another island. It's always reasonably local. And some of the puzzles are pretty tricky. There's one right now, it's a slider that plays piano notes, and then there's a piano behind me, and I know they're related, but I just cannot figure out what it is. And it's like a full piano that I can like take my finger and hit the keys in VR and it makes sound. It's super. That's just a side thing that I love real working pianos in VR games.
That's great. So VR really kind of like transformed this game.
It feels like it was always made for VR. Like I imagine that the original game was still really fun, but it's also like I've seen side by sides of it, and it looks so faithful to the original. But even less so, Riven is a sequel to Myst, and Digital Foundry just put out a video. They gave Riven the same treatment, and Riven actually, like the VR version of it is so faithful. It looks exactly like the original because the pre-renders in the original were so good. But you can like absolutely see, like when they put you down a hallway, you can kind of see how careful they were with the framing for these pre-renders and everything to really sell these locations. It's really cool.
And that's, I guess, just another layer onto it that your dad was super into this game.
Well, my dad and my uncle both, the first time I showed them VR, they were like, God, call me when they do a Myst port. It was like the first words out of their mouths. Yeah, and it actually happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah, of course they're not going to play it. They weren't serious, but they,
Well, I imagine, like, I mean, if you ever have your dad over or whatever, like,
he'll want to see it. Yeah.
That would blow his mind. Imagine growing up with this game back in the day, and now you're inside of it.
I mean, I felt that. I felt, the VR Ocarina of Time stuff, the VR. It's a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
But Myst especially, like, I can't stress enough how immersive this is. This is in VR, but even, like, it must have been extremely... I mean, 1993 graphics didn't look like this. The graphics in Myst are extremely impressive for a 1993 game. Mm-hmm. So, it's... And the audio, too. The audio design is very good. Just all of it. It's really good. The only thing This is something funny. This game actually makes me less motion sick to play in VR with free locomotion than it does to play with a controller on my TV.
Wow.
This is one of those games that, like, puzzle games do this, like The Witness did it, and it kills me, but it's low field of view, and there's no cursor or crosshair.
Yeah.
So that combination makes me sick. I played this game for, like, I just didn't feel like putting on the headset at one point, and I played it, like, 20 minutes of the game on my TV. No more. It is so much less pukey in VR, even using like the joystick to move around and stuff. I don't understand how, but it is.
No, it's crazy how something so simple can change your experience so much. Like adding a crosshair to just focus your vision adds so much.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's God, I need to get back into VR. There's so much.
I don't even know if
there's so
this
much
is on,
for me there.
I don't know if this is on PSVR. So you might have to...
I can get that adapter, right? And just...
It's not out yet.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, Myst is one of those things. I don't know if it would mean the same thing. I think Katie really likes this. Katie, like friend of the show, Katie.
Yeah.
And I think she's into Myst. I can't remember. Yeah, I just wasn't... I don't know if we were wanting to say people's full names on the show.
Oh, yeah,
but...
I'll take that out.
Just beep it out.
Yeah.
It's funnier that way. But I don't know if it'd mean the same thing to people who didn't have their like family talking about it the whole time. But I'm really excited to play Riven because everything I've read is that Riven blows Myst out of the water in every meaningful way. So I bought them both in a bundle on Steam.
Nice. Okay. Well, looking forward to your update on that.
Oh yeah, probably next week. They're not long games.
Mike.
What have I been playing? I've been busy. I guess I did pick up Noita recently.
Yeah.
Like last week I bought it and I think I haven't played it much.
Now that's a game that puts some hair on your chest.
I've done like 3 or 4 run and my first run ended in a surprise.
Yeah, they'll do that.
I get to the snowy depths.
On your first run?
On my first run,
pretty
yeah.
Good. That's pretty good for a
first
run.
First or second run I got there.
Yeah.
And I encounter an enemy, it hits me once, and then I explode. And I don't know what happened, but I died instantly.
Could have been many things.
I stood in water and died instantly.
You probably got electrocuted.
I think I got froze to death. I don't know what happened.
That'll happen.
I can't parse it. I don't have a clip, but I did die in one shot, and I'm not sure how.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of one-shot kills in that game. early on.
Yeah, the game kind of difficult. It didn't help that I spent my first part of that run dying to fire damage because I stepped in a flame accidentally.
Yeah.
In the starting area.
Yep.
So
Noita is one of the hardest games I've ever played, for sure.
It was quite difficulty.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of getting the hang of it. I might do more runs at some point, but
how much do you know about Noita? Like the secrets and
none. I know none of the secrets.
I envy you.
I will figure them out as I get there.
There's so much for you to find in this game. I envy you so much. Just whenever
I've learned that bombs are deadly.
Yeah. Anytime you find a place you don't think you can get, or like a wall you don't think you can get through, you always can. Just know that when you're playing Noita. There's always cool stuff to find behind every corner, locked in every depth you can go to. It just keeps, that world is just massive.
It's kind of a big world.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's like secret areas. There's Noita's like top roguelike for sure.
Yeah, it's a roguelike, right? So doesn't the world change on each run, or
yes?
How does that work?
But there are things that are in. There are certain things that are in the same place every time, like biomes and stuff.
Yeah, like the first three like you start with a randomized wand, but you go from like the mines to the coal pits to the snow biome.
Yeah, and for
at least that's the progression I have.
For the that's the progression. But for the uninitiated, Noita is like a wizard simulator kind of game, roguelike, in what's called the Falling Everything engine. So like every pixel on the screen is simulated, everything can be burnt, everything can be destroyed, everything can have chemical reactions done to it. It's like those sorts of things from Breath of the Wild times a million. Like it is. And like all of those things can both kill you and be used to your advantage.
Yeah, to like figure out I think it was a wand I wanted to get. I burnt down the wood around it with a torch.
Yeah.
Like I just lit a wall on fire and it burnt away, allowing me to get the wand.
Yeah.
So it's very nifty how I can use the engine to solve my problems.
Yeah, it's a brilliant problem-solving game.
Yeah. Not a lot of games offer you that ability to just light a wall on fire.
Yeah.
And get to where you need and hope that since you lit the gunpowder on fire, you don't die.
No, it makes me think of like, there's Noita, there's Immersive Sims, there's Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Like those are the games that give you those kind of options.
And the game doesn't warn you that when you have like a wand that produces fireballs and an AoE around them and makes them bounce, that they do friendly fire damage.
Yep.
Until you decide to cast the spell in a crowded room.
No, you're your own worst enemy in Noita.
Yeah,
I've
then
killed
all of
myself
a sudden,
so many times.
My health bar disappears because I'm now in what basically approximates to fireball hell.
And like the learning, like the skill ceiling on like wand crafting and stuff in Noita, because you have all these spells that you can put on a wand. You can customize them yourself. And things like the order matters. And just the way that these spells interact with each other, it's such a deep system. And it's not like hard to understand. It's just like learning the rules that first time. It often kills you. You have to understand.
Once you kind of figure out rules, it gets a little easier.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love Noita. I've put so many hours. It took me, I think, 199. It was either 99 or 199. Either one on my 100th game or my 200th game. It took me so many tries to beat Noita.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there.
I think it took me 200 tries. What a game. And I loved most of them. Some of them were very frustrating deaths, but I really like that game.
Yeah, you just kind of have to roll with it because the game doesn't attempt to hold your hand whatsoever.
No.
It just lets you die. Like it doesn't say, "Hey, this might kill you." It just kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds like the kind of game I'd be into. But yeah, Connor, you finally got one of us to play Noita, so...
Yeah, I know. Finally.
I'd been wanting to play Noita for a while, and then I saw it was on sale, and I picked it up.
Yeah, I'm thinking about coming back to it. There have been a lot of updates since I last played it. They've added some new, like, meta quests. Not as in the VR headset, but as in, like, stuff... There are things you can do in Noita that, like, affect your future runs. They don't really make you more powerful, but they make, like, cosmetic changes to the world and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about Noita at least one more time on the show, because at some point I'll play it, but as we all know, we're feasting right now, so...
Yeah, no,
when I get
you're not going to be able to fit it in October, certainly.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say about Noita?
No, not really.
I've spoken about it so many times on the show.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to talk about Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, and this time around it will be only spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiling anything, just end the show now. This is the last part of the show, and maybe come back and listen to it when you are sufficiently far in the game or have finished it. But I am now in what I presume to be the final area of the game. And it's like pretty obvious, right? When you teleport there, I don't know what it's called. It's got like a weird name.
It's
like,
in-ear something? In-ear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I called it the Castlevania Castle because I thought it looked...
floating in the sky, right?
From far away, it was very... and you can like see it from the very beginning of the DLC.
You can, which is so cool.
Very hype.
Yeah, I just burned the tree, and now I'm in that castle area. And all of a sudden, like, my family has gotten together, and they're going to be here for a while, so I'm concerned that if I wait, right, like, I will lose all the sharpness I have cultivated and not stand a smidgen of a chance against this final boss, which I hear
also
is
might get
just
spoiled.
Killer. I think I have gotten spoiled. So I know that the final boss involves Radon somehow.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate, because that would have hit so hard for me, but... You know, like, with a game as big as Elden Ring, just waiting this long, you're going to get spoiled somehow.
See, I found that to be very disappointing myself. It just felt like fan service to me.
Oh man, I guess they're targeting
it is fan service.
Right
it just
people.
Got you good, yeah.
Yeah, like
it didn't work on me. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, because Radon has been built up as this legend throughout the Elden Ring lore, and like he's like this unstoppable force, and like he felt like that when you fought him, but he was kind of in a weakened state when you fought him before. So I assume he's going to be like resurrected at full power and all of that. But I guess obviously don't tell me, but
right, yeah.
But things are leading in that direction. But yeah, like what a DLC, man. Like this Shadow of the Erdtree just continues to impress me. It's so vertical. Like I know we've said that so many times, but it's just the verticality of the world is just unbelievable.
Yeah, like, it is. You've seen like one of the things I didn't talk about last time because it was a spoiler, but why does it teleport you to that place? Like the castle.
Yeah,
that's
which
so
is
silly.
Because like I thought like you can just go there, right? Like
you can, you can walk there. There's no need to teleport.
So
I don't know why they chose to do that.
Like, and I don't know why you won't let me out because there's a couple things I wanted to do, but now I can't do that.
It won't let you out.
It blocks all the teleports when you teleport in. So I don't know if that's just like until you find another grace or something.
That's gonna be that's just got to be until you find the first grace.
Okay, good.
Because I was gonna say I left almost immediately.
No, yeah, like as soon as I got there, I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm gonna leave now, and it just wouldn't let me do it. So
there's a grace really early in it. So.
Okay, yeah, I just need to find a grace. But I mean, that last area is so cool too. Like castle floating in the sky. Come on, like, and
it's hard too. It has some enemies. There is one enemy there that's not even like a mini boss or anything. Granted, I was like super under blessinged when I got there the first time. But I have died more to an enemy in that place than I think I died to any single boss in the entire DLC.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll have any trouble with it at all if you've like explored a little more than I had, but I genuinely like spent forever trying to get past this enemy.
I will say that I have explored thoroughly because that's just how I play these games. I've combed every inch I could. Really.
What's your blessing level?
I think 16 or 17.
16 is what I'm at. So
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, and especially a game like this invites exploration so much. And I really want to shout out Shadowkeep. Like, what a level, man. Like, not only is like an incredible, like, dungeon or whatever in its own right, the way it just connects to different parts of the world is just incredible. Shadowkeep really is this
it connects
nexus.
To everywhere. It's a mega dungeon. Yeah.
It's this nexus that could lead you to like basically any part of the map, and it feels really natural because of how massive the place is. But
you've been to my favorite area now, though, right? You've explored.
We actually talked about it. So we talked about it last week, right?
But you hadn't done the manor yet.
But I hadn't done anything yet. So I've done the manor and fought the Lord of Madness or whatever.
Dude, that boss was sick. Like, did you read his remembrance and stuff? Like, or not remembrance. He's a failed frenzied lord. Like, he did all the stuff to become.
Oh yeah, that's
but
cool.
he failed to do it. Yeah, which is why he looks like, I don't know if you got the frenzy ending, but that's what you look like if you get that ending.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together. That's really cool.
But you don't have to put it together. It's spelled out explicitly in the item text.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, I meant like the.
The visual.
Like yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's really cool. Yeah,
but
I really want to do another playthrough that like uses his sword and like do a frenzy playthrough of Elden Ring.
Dude, that's the other thing too.
Like a new game plus.
The build variety has just gone off the deep end. There's just way too many options. Like, and
you could spend 1,000 hours in that game and not
it's
do the same
like
build twice.
Theory craft so many different kinds of builds, and like you and I, Connor, we keep it simple. Like pretty intentionally, right?
I'm a bonk player, yeah.
You're a bonk player, and I'm a tricky knife player, basically. Like you're pure dex, or no, you're pure strength. I'm pure dex.
Yeah,
but like, there's any combination of like really unique builds. There are builds that like are hybrid builds, right? Like maybe you want to use a weapon that has like a strength and an arcane requirement or something, or a faith and an intelligence requirement. Like, there's so many ways to play Elden Ring, and like, from that perspective, I feel like I've barely scratched the surface, right? Like, I've explored this world's depths so much, but in terms of like the build variety and the theory crafting for builds, I've done nothing. And that's like a whole aspect of the game I haven't even really interfaced with. Because I just find a weapon that I find cool, level it up as much as I can, and use it. Which
same.
Obviously is another valid way to play the game, but I just love that this incredible game is so deep and so broad to facilitate all of these things.
The only thing, I wish there were more larval tiers, like an infinite larval tier source, so that I could experiment with builds. That not being in the DLC was disappointing to me. But that's like a weird thing. Like, clearly that's not the artist's intent. So I'm not like disappointed. It's just something I would have liked.
Yeah. But yeah, like I've made my way through the Shadow Realm. I want to comment on, I guess, some of the bosses. The last boss I fought was a real pushover. It was like the Scarlet Rot lady or whatever.
The centipede thing?
Yeah.
Extremely easy first try for me. Yeah, that one was... Yep. Yeah. Crazy, because the difficulty spikes so much after.
No, I honestly, like, because after a while of playing these games, you can just sort of tell instantly how easy a boss will be. Within 5 seconds of fighting her, I was like, okay, this isn't going to be a problem at all. And then that actually struck fear in me, because I know Miyazaki did this intentionally, where it was just like, he's giving me an easy one right now. So, because he's going to absolutely steamroll me in the next few hours leading up to the final boss.
You do have some tricky stuff ahead of you, yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
the thing that... I don't even think I saw her moveset. Like, I think I stun locked her completely. I don't think she got a single attack off. Yeah, like such a pushover.
So you're able to stun lock, I think, easier because of your strength. Yeah, but her attacks.
Well, I have my hammer has the single highest poise break or whatever stun, whatever that is. It's the highest in the game, which I didn't know that when I did it. But
I was just gonna say, like, her attacks weren't even that hard to dodge. Like, it was just like, I mean, very intentional. I think intentionally an easy boss.
She's a bug. You crush her.
At this point, yeah. I do want to comment also on Mesmer. Somehow, some way, that guy went down easy for me. Well, I don't want to say easy, right? Like, he was obviously a challenging boss. It took me, like, I think 5 to 10 tries, but the first time I got to phase 2, I beat him.
His phase 1 was harder to me, like, because his phase 2 is not actually really any different from his phase 1. It's just flashier.
It is flashier, but like, and I recorded the video because I like doing that with certain boss fights. But like, as soon as it hits phase 2, right? Like, you can see me. I just start panic rolling because I don't know what's about to happen, right? Like, because like I've never seen these patterns before, so I'm just freaking out. Yeah, and he just summons like. No, he like turns into a giant snake.
Yeah, he turns into a giant snake.
And I was just like, "What is happening?" Like, this is pure
see if
chaos.
you'd learned the like you didn't have to, but like he actually has like huge windows in his second phase that he doesn't have in his first. Like, you can attack him.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I
like
did
when he is that snake, you can still hit him, and he has huge openings during the snake form. Like his second phase is way easier than his first.
No, I mean, like, I remember the first time the first attempt on the first phase. Like, and he just like eviscerated me. I was like, this is going to be a boss
No,
fight.
that first
I was
phase
just
is
like,
hard.
this is going to be so cool. Because Mesmer, his moveset is really cool. And but like, I guess I'm glad I beat him as quickly as I did. But I would like for him to have posed more of a challenge. But I think that was just a product of like, maybe this boss clicked more with me, or maybe I got a lucky run or something.
Or maybe you just explored more. Like, I had not seen, like, he was the first thing I found in the Shadow Tree, in the Shadow Keep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like,
yeah.
So like,
so you just went
over
straight to
half
the
the
end.
map I hadn't seen yet. Yeah, not on purpose. Well, no, you don't go to the end from him. You
Right, but I know what you mean. But like, you went like
I went to the end
top.
of I went to the end of the keep. Yeah, not on purpose. It was just I don't know. It was the path of least resistance for me, and I'm like Shadow Tree Blessing like 9 or something.
Oh
like,
yeah. No, I was way higher level. I was like, probably.
And I think a lot of people found it because like I've played that boss fight a lot as a summon.
Yeah.
And God, they are underleveled. It kills me. I hate it when you get. I don't like playing the multiplayer in the DLC very much because your damage and defense is based on the host Shadow Tree Blessing.
Oh, yeah, I guess they had to do it that way, huh?
Yeah, and as a result of that, like, because they're not prepared, I get bodied, and it's just not really fun.
But I guess I do want to say that, like, Mesmer was like the poster child of this DLC, right? Like, he was in the trailer, he has the statue on the collector's edition and stuff.
He's the coolest boss, in my opinion.
He's the coolest boss. Like, obviously, I don't know the final boss. I know that, I guess it is some version of Radahn, but I guess that would have been a massive spoiler if they had, like, plastered his face all over it, so they kept that as a surprise. Which, God, I'm so bummed that I found that out. Like, that would have
that sucks.
That would have made me jump out of my chair. But, and I mean, like, they did sow the seeds for it, right? Like, as I'm playing through this DLC, like, NPCs are talking about reviving Radahn. I was just like, ooh, what is this? You know?
You were like the opposite of me in that way, in a way that's really funny, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's really lame. This has to be like a middle of the DLC boss kind of thing. Like, that's just dumb fan service.
Oh, no, yeah, that's...
I was so disappointed.
The fan
I thought
service
it was so
totally
lame.
works on me, so I'm excited for it.
It's just funny that we're different. That's not a critique of anybody.
Yeah, but I think I've done pretty much, like, obviously I can't have done everything. There's stuff hidden away everywhere, like
but you've done all the major stuff.
But
like,
yeah,
you've done enough that I would say I've done everything.
Right, like I've done everything like a very exploratory player would do. Like without like maybe I missed a few graces or whatever, but like
You found Saint Trina, you got the message from Saint Trina.
Yeah, and I fought Saint Trina. Like, I'm so bad at NPC names.
That's the lady that kills you.
Yes, yeah, I've done all that. What was really cool was the church guy. You know, when you go to the Finger Ruins, and then you go and find the secret Finger Ruins underneath the church, and then you fight that monstrosity, that like alien eldritch Bloodborne-esque monstrosity.
Dude, it took me. I had to look up how to find it. It did not occur to me to like interact with the throne at all. I had to Google that. Dude, I could not figure out how to get to the boss.
You know what's crazy?
I
found that before I even hit the second Finger Ruin. So the second ruin I found was the one underneath the church. Because like I
didn't even know you could do that.
Dude, you could. Because like he wasn't on the throne for whatever reason. Yeah. So I went up to the throne and it like had a button on it. I was like, what's this? So I pressed it and it took you underground to that place, right? And
that's crazy.
But like you couldn't interact with you couldn't blow into the thing.
Okay.
So I saw it there and I was just like, this probably will be active after I get the 2 other ruins or whatever. But so I went down there, went back, and then the next time he was on the throne, he kind of like said something to me like, you probably saw something you shouldn't have like seen. So there was like an interaction there too.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
yeah. Sick. I would have liked a little more pomp and circumstance around that, like maybe some a cutscene or something. This was a very light on cutscene DLC, which is fine. But
I feel like that whole like sequence of events lore wise, like I don't really know what's going on, but I mean, like I could tell it was like this is like some kind of like Bloodborne-esque cosmic being.
Yeah.
So
did you ever find that spell we talked about last week?
I did, yeah. Because
Yeah.
So that whole area, that's the only thing I had to look up in this entire thing. Because anything related to gesturing, I'm just not going to know.
Oh, yeah. I knew.
I had the gesture. I didn't know, I just didn't know, like, to do it, in that spot. So, like, I was just like, I can't tell you how long I spent in Shadowkeep trying to get to that, like, part of the map.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I can see that it connects to Shadowkeep. So I was like all the way up there trying to like find hidden passageways. It took forever. And then I was just like, you know what, this is dumb. I'm gonna look it up. And it was like, oh, here. Do a gesture in front of the statue. I was like, come on. I never would have done that myself.
You can leave a gesture in the messages. So like the messages in front of it were doing that gesture for me.
When I went to that statue, no messages were underneath it. So I just walked past it. But then after I looked it up and opened it up, there were messages everywhere. So like,
I wonder if there was like a server maintenance.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Because otherwise, obviously, I would have seen it and done it. But yeah. But no, I guess that's cool, right? Like hidden stuff like this is what is one of Miyazaki's staples.
Oh yeah.
So you gesture in front of the statue and opens up a whole new area of the world.
It recontextualized everything. Like,
yeah, it's like
I was under the impression that the horn. I thought America was like just a vaguely normal person at one point. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I'm not really sure the implications of that were because she was like she would use the spell to bathe the city in gold, but like no one was there to receive it or something to that effect, right? That's what it said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was saying because that was the shaman village, so that means America was a shaman.
Okay, I think I misunderstood. I thought she was like bathing the capital. I thought they were talking about the capital, but like I could be wrong.
No, they were talking about the shaman village because there was a minor Erdtree in the shaman village, and so what it means is that they were going to stuff. They either were going to or did stuff America in a jar.
Okay, yeah, I'm not as up on the lore as you are. So, like, I have to, like, watch a Vati video thing to explain this to me, because I don't really pay attention.
It explains why she sent Mesmer to kill everyone there. Because they massacred her people. Like,
yeah.
They stuffed them in jars.
Yeah, I didn't, like, get any of that, so I'm going to have to watch a video explaining all this. But
it was really good. The lore in this DLC was very good.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, it's weird to me, because, like, you know how I really love stories in games, but in a game like Elden Ring, I'm content knowing that there's so many dark mysteries about this world that I'm exploring, even if I don't have all the answers myself. Like, I'm totally fine just, like, watching a video explaining all of that stuff later.
Yeah.
Which is...
those videos are how I reward myself for beating the bosses. Like,
oh, yeah.
Because I often don't understand what's going on. Elden Ring is a lot easier to follow than any of the Souls games, though.
It definitely
Elden
is. And
much easier.
Probably a hand of, like, George R.R. Martin in that, but...
Yeah. I don't know, because Elden Ring is just more accessible on all fronts than...
That is true, yeah.
From's history. So maybe it's that, but I imagine it was also just an intentional choice made by everyone involved.
Yeah. But yeah, what a game, what a way to cap off this game. Like, Elden Ring, I think will go down in history as one of the GOATs. It is presently my favorite game ever. And yeah, I think once I finally run into this final boss, and God, I'm like dreading it, dude. Like, I just know it's going to be miserable. Like, I've seen so much stuff online about this boss, so
I mean, you got to get to it first.
I got to get to it first, yeah.
You've got some difficulty walls.
And I'm really worried. Like, I love my family, but like, and they constantly want to do stuff. And if I don't play Elden Ring for like 2 weeks and then try to do the final level and final boss, it's just over. I'm cooked.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to. Like, you're gonna have to play multiplayer for a couple hours.
I'm just gonna
like,
I have to like reskill up, because like right now I feel powerful, dude. Like, I feel like I'm very good at that game, but if you don't lose it, you lose it. So,
yeah.
All right. I think that's it for me. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you all for listening. You can follow us at Podcast Game Talk on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. click the link in the description to join our Discord and talk to us there. Please like us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast services you use. Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.